Don't forget that your skin is your largest organ, and the sun can be your skin's worst enemy. Dermatologist-recommended Neutrogena products offer the ultimate protection for your skin. From makeup remover wipes to Hydro Boost Water Gel Facial Moisturizer, BJ's has your entire lineup of Neutrogena skincare products. And now through December 3rd, save $4 on any Neutrogena product at BJ's. Love your skin back and save now through December 3rd, only at BJ's.
Sports Social, now on the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey, this is Mike from the FinFans Podcast, and if you're a fan of the Miami Dolphins, this podcast is for you. We're a show that's by the fans for the fans, and we don't sugarcoat poor play, and we always find positives that are deserved regardless of the game result. You can check out our latest episode now on the Sports Social Podcast Network and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just search for the FinFans Podcast and enjoy.
Hi guys, it's Mina, and I've come to chat to you about two other Italian teams who contested Champions League matches yesterday. Inter went to the Estadio da Luz to take on Benfica, who have been somewhat horrifying this campaign. They've just conceded a bunch of goals, lost their games, and we genuinely thought Benfica would be a lot better than this. Coming into this game, I thought for sure that this would be an easy win for Inter. But at the same time, it didn't need to be. I was still convinced that even if they didn't win this match, that all they needed to do was just really defeat Real Sociedad and they'd be fine. As it stands, they got a 3-3 victory in what was a ridiculous game, to be honest with you. What you need to know primarily is that Sociedad got a draw, and so it all goes down to the wire in the last game to note who will come first in the group. And of course, that match will be at San Siro. So Inter decided to heavy rotate the match and started off with Alexis Sanchez and Arnautovic up front, Aslani, Fratesi and Klaassen in the middle, and Bisek came in at the back. And this was a game in which, in the very beginning, people were wondering, was this excessive rotation of the squad? Now, Inter has a really heavy schedule in the sense that they faced Juventus in the Derby d'Italia. Obviously, we spoke about this in great detail over the weekend. They have this midweek Champions League game, and then they face Napoli over the weekend as well, this coming weekend. So it's a case of trying to show off the depth of this squad. It's a game that, like I said, isn't vital to win. So there is a chance to say, well, why don't we give these players a chance? As we saw, the midfield is the essence of everything. If you have a great midfield, you perform brilliantly. And unfortunately, I think that when you change this much in a squad, problems are going to happen. And João Mario, revenge of the ex, scored a goal before the first 5 minutes were up. In fact, he completed a hat-trick in 34 minutes. So it was a hideous first half from Inter. Robbed in possession, laborious, weren't covering the spaces in midfield, poor defending, poor understanding. I think two of the worst players were, in fact, Arnautovic and Sanchez in the beginning. But what was brilliant is that they're the ones that turned it around. I think, in essence, it was Klaassen and Aslani who just had a really terrible game and couldn't really redeem themselves in the way that they wanted. Bisek had a monstrous second half to show us that he is somebody that we should be watching all the time. It was a really superb performance from him in the second half. And I think that in the beginning, it's a case of all we've ever spoken about is that Inter have this incredible squad depth. And then you see a lot of these players on the pitch and you're thinking, I don't know about that. But I love that Inzaghi was like, no, they needed to redeem themselves. They needed to work with themselves. I didn't want to just change everything straight away, which was great for him because Arnautovic scored fairly quickly in the start of the second half. Fratesi followed it up soon after, and then the changes came in with the likes of Thuram, Barella and Cuadrado. Inter were magnificent in the second half. Benfica fell by the wayside in the second half. They were so poor. I'm almost at a loss that this was a team that caused Juventus so much concern in last season. I don't understand the difference between, Benfica are at the top of the table. They've got 3 more points than Porto. They beat Porto in the derby and they beat, Sporting Lisbon over the weekend as well. I mean, this is a side that has conceded very few goals this season, but when it comes to Champions League football, they've been horrifying. And then, of course, it didn't help that Antonio Silva got red carded. Either way, a terrible second half for them. Inter managed to get 3 goals back. Alexis Sanchez was magnificent in the second half. I think everyone was so good in the second half, to be honest, especially when you consider and compare to their performance in the first half. And now they just need to secure, well, I mean, they're qualified. It's just about securing top spot in the group stage. And I think Inzaghi can smile. More importantly, I think they could have scored a 4th goal with Barella and very nearly won a game that started off in such poor circumstances for them. Over at Madrid, Napoli under Volta Mazzari took on Ancelotti's Madrid. Now, this was a fascinating match and the one that I was watching in real time. I think that people who know me will know that I lived in Madrid. I went to university in Madrid. I heavily follow Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. I'm a big fan of both of them. I like all things madrileño. And I think that sometimes when you watch a lot of Real Madrid and then you go back to watching Serie A, you feel a huge difference in quality. And so this season, I have watched them, but perhaps not that much. And it'll be games against, it's like the derby or something. I didn't necessarily feel the beauty of Real Madrid as much when you're watching them sort of play in the league. But then you watch them against Napoli, and Napoli were they were good. They kept up the pace. They came back, with Anguissa in the second half, got a second goal. But, and for however good they were, I just feel like Madrid were on another level. And I need to explain this. Madrid have 1,000 injuries. So there was no Tchouaméni, there was no Camavinga, there was no Vinicius Jr., there was no Courtois. There wasn't even Kepa, who's the second choice goalkeeper. They're playing with Lunin. They brought on, Joselu, their striker, who is the striker, the only one that they have at the moment, because Karim Benzema obviously went to Saudi Arabia and they haven't been able to get Mbappe. They brought him on. He missed about 17 chances. Then they brought on Nicolas Paz, who is a midfielder and a child. He's 18. This is just and he was ridiculous. I sometimes watch Real Madrid and I get depressed because of the quality that they have, the ability to play this kind of football, the ability to extract so much quality from all their players, the understanding of space. When you look at their formation, if you look at it like the way that it was written on the actual sheets that were handed out is 3-2-2-2, but it's not. It's basically, 4-2-2-2. I'm sorry. But it's not. It's a 4-4-2, I guess, in many ways, but it's not even that. It's a 4-man back line and then just free space. And you're there to find the spaces. You look at Bellingham and he just moves around. He's everything from a central midfielder to an attacking midfielder to a striker to a winger to a fullback to whatever the space opens, whatever his duty is as a footballer, his understanding is incredible. It's incredible. If there's ever a doubt that Ancelotti is not an unbelievably great coach. It's stunning. It's really, really stunning to watch. I know it just seems like I cannot understand how. I honestly don't understand how a team can be so good sometimes. I genuinely don't. I just feel like it's when Nicolas Paz can come on, a midfielder who doesn't play, who's just lending a hand, as Ancelotti said after the game, and can come on and score the goal that he did against Napoli, the champions of Italy. I understand that Napoli is not the Napoli of last season, but it is really incredible. I find it hard when people go against Ancelotti as being good. I'm not saying that he doesn't make mistakes. He's made plenty of them. But I think the way his players understand space. Become a member at patreon.com/Serie A Chronicles for regular bonus episodes and content.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Don't forget that your skin is your largest organ, and the sun can be your skin's worst enemy. Dermatologist recommended Neutrogena products offer the ultimate protection for your skin. From makeup remover wipes to Hydro Boost Water Gel Facial Moisturizer, BJ's has your entire lineup of Neutrogena skincare products. And now through December 3rd, save $4 on any Neutrogena product at BJ's. Love your skin back and save now through December 3rd, only at BJ's.